Tom was very excited as usual at this time of the year. Halloween had come and he had taken a week off from his boring desk job. He had a small group of friends and they would meet and have fun at this time of the year. They were too old for Halloween celebrations anyway. Tom and his friends would go to the forest every year at this time to relax. They met early in the morning, took their drinks and snacks, and talked about the old days they had all left behind, but talking about them felt very good. The sky was slowly getting dark, and Tom and his friends were slowly getting ready and went out to the street. They filled all the food and drinks into a backpack that one of their friends had and set off. There were children everywhere who wore costumes for Halloween and walked around collecting candy and money, of course. There were also adults who still followed this tradition everywhere. After watching around for a while, they walked slowly towards the forest near midnight. The forest had a more gloomy and cold atmosphere than other days. They lit a small fire and sat around it. When they got deeper into the forest, they were talking and having fun while it was slowly time for drinks. Tom took out the beers and distributed them to everyone, while his other friends opened and arranged the snacks. The drinks were going well with the fire and the cold weather. The drinks were slowly running out and strange crackling and moaning sounds were coming from the depths of the forest. These strange sounds made people shiver, while one of the girls in their group said she was scared and wanted to leave. The others tried to stop her, but they couldn't. Tom said that it was dangerous to go alone, as they were deep in the forest, but the girl didn't care much and left alone. The sounds stopped right after she left. Then one of them said that she left in vain, and that the sounds stopped right after she left. Everyone in the group agreed with them reluctantly. They drank their drinks and slowly started to clean up, while a rustling sound came to their ears and it was coming very close. They saw a long thin shadow standing near them as they looked around in fear. The whole group looked at it in fear, while Tom said that it was Halloween and someone was wearing a costume and playing a prank on them. One of them approached the long scarecrow-like thing and walked to it. He punched it under the influence of alcohol and heard a strange crackling sound. Then his scream rose. His hand was bloody and torn apart. Everyone ran towards him in panic, while the scarecrow grabbed his arm and dragged him into the forest quickly. The group panicked and didn't know what to do, while their friends' screams of pain rose from the forest. They ran there quickly when they saw their friend's bloody body hanging from a scarecrow-like thing. The monster had torn his body apart and hung him here. They tried to pull him down while they saw the lifeless and torn body of the girl, who left scared on the ground in horror. Everyone scattered into the forest in fear. Tom didn't know what to do either. He was running around in the forest while screams rose from different parts of the forest, driving him into horror. The strange thing was that they couldn't get out of the forest. His legs were trembling with fear. He could hardly run while crackling sounds came to his ears again. He waited in fear while a faint voice came towards his ear. He had turned pale with fear. This voice definitely did not belong to one of his friends. He turned around and saw a long, dark thing right behind him. He ran as fast as he could without realizing how fast he was running, trying to get out of the forest while he heard car noises. This was a road. He ran towards the road and threw himself on the road. A sudden light hit his eyes as he jumped on the road, and his body was filled with pain for a moment. He had been hit by a car passing by on the road. As he jumped on it suddenly, when he opened his eyes, he was tired and injured in a hospital bed. After a small interrogation by the police and health teams, the police explained what happened to him. He had been attacked by a psychopath, and Tom was the only one who escaped by chance. No matter how much he explained, no one believed him. He stayed in hospital for a while, then came back home with an ambulance after being discharged from hospital. He was still in shock of what happened and couldn't believe what happened. All his friends were dead, and no one believed him. He went up to his room crying after crying, changed his clothes and wanted to sleep. He took a short shower and came back to bed and lay down. Then the door slammed suddenly and he jumped up in bed. He looked around and sat in fear while a strange crackling sound came from behind the bed. There was nothing in his house that made such a crackling sound, but this sound was familiar. He remembered what it was as he thought about this sound. His body was ice cold, and he turned around in fear while these words echoed in his ear. "Do you feel fear?"